some inspiration. If it's not one of the three, I don't want it. Let's go ahead and get this thing going in such a way that we get that connection out, we get that ability out. We start focusing through our challenges, we get into the mentality, we start getting into the ability, we start getting down with what we are inside, the things that we want to go through, the people that we want to become. Ask yourself, what kind of challenges are you facing off against today, how you can utilize what you have, and what you can do to be who you are inside. So what I ask myself every day is a question that I would recommend everyone to do the same. Is it about meditation? Is it about inspiration? Is it about motivation? If it's not one of the three, I don't want it. Like daily, on that kind of grind, in that kind of way, in that kind of mentality, we start to get down with our own level of focus. We get down with our own level of being. We get down with our own abilities, our own mentalities. And let's start breaking down some stories here. So yesterday I had a person who had gotten a ride home, and as they were on their way home, we started talking about how we went through challenges and how he was still growing, and I recognized that there's always stuff for us to learn. There's always going to be things that are going to work for you. There's always going to be things that are going to work against you. What ultimately matters is that you see for yourself that you're important, that you see that you can do it, that you can become it, that what you want to achieve is possible, and that you can make it through the challenges that you face off against if you focus. But you got to put yourself in the place. You got to recognize that, you know, what you're facing off against, you can make it through. What you might think might not be possible can be possible to the one who continues to focus, the one who continues to put themselves in a place where their mentality has that centering. It has that ability for you to start to see the positive. And so when you allow the things that are not moving in your direction to move out of the way, when you let them move out of the way on their own, one of the most interesting keys is that the universe will start to send affirmations to you. It'll send confirmations to you. It will start asking you the question that nobody else can. It will start to get down with you to the point where you have what it takes, where what you faced off against is there for you, where your mentality goes beyond what other people would think. And so this is the place where we have to truly start asking ourselves the questions. We got to truly start sitting down with ourselves and ask ourselves, are we focusing? Are we putting ourselves in a place where the mentality starts to vibrate, where the ability starts to vibrate, where what you got going on inside is there for you? Because a lot of people are going to have challenges. A lot of people are going to be going through things. They're going to have things that, you know, are working for them. They're going to have things that are working against them. And so it's inside of you that you start to manifest. It's inside of you that you start to become a reflection outwards. And it's when you allow the process of your mentality to be utilized, when you allow your being to be who you are, you allow your challenges, it's when you see other people for beauty that they have inside of themselves that you start to recognize your own challenges, your own ability inside of you. It's when you're sitting down with energy and you're understanding that you have a purpose. It's when you're giving yourself the place to grow and to reflect and to become who you are, that you're utilizing the practice of mentality. And so as we give ourselves that kind of permission, the universe starts to open up things. It starts to put the things in front of you. It allows the things that are not meant for you to move out of your direction. And it's up to you to allow it. It's up to you to let it go on its own. It's up to you to keep that kind of positive attitude where, you know, you can do things, that you can achieve it, that as it flows, it comes in such a way that the direction moves towards you. It has a purpose to becoming friends with the universe. You might not always see the page that it's on. And you have to give yourself the ability to understand that that page is where you're meant to be. It's a form of almost an art to be yourself. It's an art form for you to sit down with this kind of mentality, to sit in this kind of place, to have these kinds of challenges. And it's really what you say about yourself is what matters. It's what you believe about you. It's when you say that you are there's people out there that are parents, and part of their being is to be a parent, and their inevitable traits inside is that for them to be whole, they have to still be that. And a lot of people don't recognize that our whole being, we have to recognize the whole being. We have to recognize that challenges are not meant to hold you back. They're meant to actually help you move forward. They're meant to help you to grow. They're meant to help you to understand yourself. They're meant to help you to become one with the universe in such a way that you overcome your own challenges. And as humans, we're going to have challenges. As humans, we're going to have things that we're going to have to work through. As humans, we're going to make mistakes. We're going to have to work. We're going to have to learn how to work through challenges. And so you get there by allowing yourself that process. You get there by allowing yourself that kind of focus to be who you are on the inside, to allow the manifestation to radiate outwards, to get down with yourself when nobody else will, to get to the place where you are with you, where you are present inside of you, where you manifest your challenges are not as great as you are. Your vibration is greater than that. Your level of focus is a foundation. It is you that's inside of yourself. It is you that is going to ask yourself all of these questions on a daily basis. Is this what it takes? Is this what you want? Are these the types of challenges that you want to go through? Or are these the types of places that you want to be? Is this truly what you want? And it's going to be asking you the question if you have the ability for the universe to work with you in that way. And so each day we have to focus to that point. Each day we're waking up to see how much we can use our own energy inside to connect with the universe. Each day we're getting to that place where focus becomes a foundation, where focus becomes a reflection, where focus becomes a understanding that we are friends with the universe, that this universe was created in a way for you, that you breathe your breath, that when you write stuff down, when you put it in front of you, what you're truly doing is you're giving yourself the ability to have a victory. When you speak things out of your truth being, and that is you having a victory. When you put yourself in a place where your mentality is greater than your challenges, then you also have a victory. And when you put yourself in a place where you focus beyond that which other people might be able to do, that's when you put yourself in a place of victory. And so it's up to us to ask ourselves that. It's up to us to get down with ourselves to the level of that. It's when you sit down with yourself and ask yourself, how focused am I? How am I going to become a reflection where other people see me as a focus, where I'm not comparing myself to them? And it's inside of that we live. It's inside of that our being radiates. And it's inside of that the universe can use your gifts. It can use your challenges. It can use your level of focus, is when what you vibrate on. Often people, they go out and buy a car, right? So all of a sudden they really want a car. And so they go into, and then all of a sudden they see one car, right? And so they start looking for this one car. So they walk into a place and they get this car. Then as soon as they leave there, everybody has the same car. Why is that? It's because your vibration is vibrated in such a way that you've attracted that kind of positivity into your direction. You've put yourself in a place where, nobody else has gone, and now everybody else wants the same thing that you have. And so you're always going to be competing. You're always going to be in a place where your mentality is there, where what you're putting yourself in a place. And ask yourself, how many people talk about focus on a daily for 30 minutes? Give yourself the ability to see this kind of drill. Give yourself the ability to get to that vibration in your mind where you stabilize yourself with your level of focus, where what you have going on is you, where the challenges that you face off against, you're able to make it through, that the people that you're meant to be with, they're there for you, they're there to uplift you, they're there as a part of your journey, that you are still going to be on your own path. And a lot of people don't recognize that. A lot of people don't want that. A lot of people don't embrace that they are who they are. They don't want to embrace the person that they are inside. They don't want to see the positivity of being who you are. And it's when we start asking ourselves those types of questions, we start getting down with who we truly are. We ultimately become who we are on the inside. We start to, allow those things to move out of our way that aren't meant for us. And we got to focus to that point. We got to allow those things to move on their own. We got to let them have their place. We got to let them have their purpose. We got to let them have their level of manifestation. And so when we focus to that point where we go beyond those kinds of challenges, when we focus to that point where we go to that place inside of ourselves, when we focus to that point where the challenges are not greater on the outside than on the inside, then we have something to work with. Then we have the ability to be ourselves. Then we're talking about the true teacher. Not when all these people put all of these things in front of you, you get this nice little classroom with this nice little desk. No, no, no. It's when you have nothing and you're grinding and you're writing with a pencil and it's breaking and you're having to resharpen it. It's when you're having to resharpen your skills. It's when it's difficult that you grow. It's when you have challenges and you focus through your challenges and you get to the page where you manifest them outwards that you grow. It's when you put yourself in a place and you continue to grind when other people's mentalities are falling apart. It's with that ability that you start to have that. And that's why I talk about having an able mentality, having a level of reflection, having a level of understanding, have a level of being inside of you. And it's within you that you give yourself that. It's within you that you give yourself that place. It's within you that you understand that you can achieve your dreams. It's within you that you can achieve your goals. It's within you that you can manifest your being. And it's up to you to ask yourself that question, because nobody else will do that for you. Nobody else has that permission to be you. And that is a beautiful thing, that you have yourself, that you have your challenges, that you have your focus and your foundation. Where is your foundation? What are you founded in? What do you do every day? How do you, what things do you drives you? What mentality do you have? What place do you go to that nobody else can? And so we have to ask ourselves those types of questions. And sometimes we rely on other people until we find it inside of ourselves. Sometimes we rely on other people until we recognize our own journey. What type of place do we go to where we have the ability to overcome our own challenges, where we focus to that place inside of ourselves? And so as we get to our level of mentality inside of who we are, as we get to that place of who we become, as we get to that place where we go beyond what nobody else can, we get to the place where focusing is there for you. We get to the place where focusing is within you. And so we got to give it its purpose. We got to see our own journey. We got to be honest with ourselves. You don't have to be honest with anybody else, although it is important that you do that for yourself, so that way you're living your life to the best of your abilities. However, no matter where you are, no matter what challenges you're going through, there's one person that you got to be honest with, and that's yourself. You truly got to get down with who you are on the inside. You got to get down with your own answers. You got to get down with your own purpose. You got to get down with your own path. You got to get to that place where you're utilizing what you have inside, where what you face off against is that, where what you have going on is you, where what you go through is there for you. And until you get there for yourself, your world is controlled by other people. Until you get there for your being, your world is not yours. And it's inside of you that you can build that. It's inside of your daily. And, even if you've lost everything, even if you've lost the ability for that to be there for you, focus beyond that. You have so much more within yourself. You have so much more inside of you if you put yourself down to where you have the ability to give yourself that place. I mean, we are on our own path and our own journey. So where do we go from there? Do you recognize even that? Have you asked yourself how to put yourself in a place where what you're utilizing is working for you? What kind of tools can you use? Ask yourself that question. Ask yourself, how do you put stuff down? Where do you put stuff down? What do you do every day? Are you giving yourself that place where you giving yourself that time to do your own mentality, to your own ability, to your own being, to the place where your level of focus matters, where you focus beyond the challenges that others might have. And so we're going to continue to live this life. We're going to live it for this journey. We're going to be on this path. We're going to be going through our purpose. We're going to face off against things that are going to ask you just how focused you are. They're going to wake you up. They're going to hit you upside the head sometimes to ask you the question, can you focus? Can you see the positivity in your life, in your universe? And so when we give ourselves that place where we truly are who we are, where the challenge is, to get back up off of the cement after you've fallen down, to get to the place where you continue to grind even when you've messed up. You got to get to the place where you focus beyond those challenges, where you can see the positivity inside of yourself, where your blessings is there. And inside of that, you will manifest. Inside of that, you will become. Inside of that, the light will radiate. Inside of that, the being inside of you is. And so as we focus to that place, as we give ourselves that kind of purpose, let me introduce you to yourself. Let me introduce you to your being. Let me introduce you to the challenges that you face off against, so that way you can make it through them. So that you can ask yourself the questions nobody else can. What are they? If you're hearing this message and you're going through a time where you don't know if it's possible, if you're a part of any time frame and you hear this message, leave me a comment. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, and YouTube. And I want you to see for yourself. I want you to ask yourself these types of questions. Because when I was by myself, when my wife left me, when I was sleeping in my car, when I was doing meditation in the sauna, when I was doing these things, I was going through what was going on inside is greater than what's outside. What matters is that you being you. It's with you recognizing your purpose, your path. It's with letting those people that are meant for you, those people that encourage you, those people that are uplifted by you, that you become an inspiration, that what you utilize is you. And inside of that, took me a long time to give myself permission to be me. Took me a long time to give myself permission to understand that this path is worth it. Took me a long time to understand how somebody could just end up leaving you after 8 years. Took me a long time to see that I had to build up inside. And I want to give you the knowledge that I utilized. I want you to write stuff down in front of you. I want you to see that if you continuously write, if you continuously put it in front of you, and if you continuously search for positivity, you will find positivity, and positivity will find you. And so as we allow ourselves that, as we get to that place inside of us, as we get to that place where it doesn't take anybody else. It's not going to take anybody else to achieve you. It's you that's going to achieve you. So we're not comparing ourselves to anybody else. We're not trying to have a competition. We're not trying to impress anybody else. we're trying to be ourselves. We're trying to be who we are. We're putting ourselves in the place to get down with who we are inside. And it's inside of that place that you start to face off against that part where nobody else can go. And that's what this is about. It's about that waking up every day. It's about that finding that the knowledge is a reflection. That when you put yourself in a place of self-honesty, when you work with the hardest trade on the face of the planet, and I'm not talking for somebody else, I'm talking about you versus you. I'm talking about the things that are great. I'm talking about the things that you go through. I'm talking about the things that you're facing off against. I'm talking about the person that you are inside. I'm talking about that level. I'm talking about that place. I'm talking about that ability for you to go through those things for you. And you're going to ask yourself those types of questions. You're going to get down with those types of challenges. You're going to get to that place. You're going to get to that mentality. You're going to get to that kind of level of focus inside of who you are, where it's going to ask you the question, who are you? If you haven't asked yourself that question, if you haven't gotten to that place where you have that place inside of you, if you haven't given yourself the ability to go down to that level where you are able to do that, where you have that permission for you to be you, and it's inside of you that you will achieve it. It's inside of you that you can manifest it. It's inside of you that you can focus to that point beyond your challenges. It's when you allow yourself for people to be on your path that are meant to be on your path. It's when you allow yourself for people that are meant to be on your journey to be on your journey. It's when you manifest the light from within you. It's when you radiate. It's when you truly are who you are, when you speak what you speak, when you become who you are inside, when you manifest that being, when that level of focus is you, when that level of understanding is you, when other people face off against the things that you are going through, then you will face off against things that nobody else can. And so as we put ourselves in that place where we give ourselves that kind of challenge, as we give ourselves that kind of mentality, as we give ourselves that kind of being, where we have those kinds of challenges to face off against, that's when the mentality starts to work. That's when the ability starts to work. And that ability is you. That being is you. That manifestation is you. That understanding is you. That reflection is you. And so as we continue to recognize that, I want you to ask yourself the question, are other people calling you a motivation? Are other people calling you those things? Let them be the ones that do that. You call yourself focused. You call yourself a victor. You call yourself a mentality that I am able to. That you are on your journey. You're going to be on your path. You're going to be on your purpose. That what it takes is for you to be you. So when we face off against challenges, when we truly face off against challenges, when we get to that place where we're utilizing it, when we get to that place where we're reflecting it, you're welcome to call in Nature Monk. Where we're on multiple networks right now. And so I'm talking about focus. I'm talking about the ability for one to be one's being. I'm talking about the ability for one to go through one's challenges, for one to have one's level of reflection. And so as we put ourselves in that place where we're utilizing it, as we put ourselves in that place where we have that kind of permission to be who we are on the inside, to understand our own energy, to understand our own being, to understand our own purpose. It's not going to be versing somebody else. A lot of people try to go to work to be the boss. That's not how life is. That's not how life will be. It's the minute that you go home that everything's fallen apart, that you find yourself. And it's inside of that place that you have to be honest with you. It's inside of that place where the reflection radiates. It's where the being understands that we are a human being, that we need to be present inside, that we need to be a part of our path, or part of our purpose, and that our journey is worth it. And that you have challenges. You're going to have things that are going to work for you, and you're going to have things that are going to work against you. It's to see that even the things that are working against you are actually working for you, because they're bringing you closer to the things that are working for you. So if you allow the process to work, if you allow the person that you are inside, if you allow your positions to be who you are, and you master them, then people will come to you. People will seek you out. People will seek out your reflection. They will seek out your understanding. They will seek out your level of focus. And like as we spend the next 3 minutes talking about that place, I want you to recognize that you are that place, that you allow that process to have that kind of vibration into the universe, and the universe has the ability to utilize that vibration as well. And so when we give ourselves that place where we are connecting with the universe from our own level of focus, we start to create a foundation. It's when the ability for one to become stable sits on place. It's when we give ourselves that place where we have what it takes to be who we are on the inside. And so when we get to that place of mentality where we are our journey, where we are our path, where we have our purpose, where we have our mentality, where we give ourselves that kind of permission to be who we are on the inside, where we give ourselves that kind of permission to go through the challenges that we go through, that we give ourselves the kind of permission to get to the place of focus where what we have going on inside is important, where what we go through on a daily is there to give the mentality a place where even when everything isn't working in our favor, our mentality overcomes our challenges. And so each day we're going to face that type of place. Each day we're going to face those types of challenges. Each day we're going to be asking ourselves, is this what it takes? And it's going to be inside of yourself that the real war goes on. It's going to be inside of yourself that the ability to focus beyond your challenges. It's going to be inside of yourself that your energy is going to be important. It's going to be inside of yourself that your mentality is important. And so it's in understanding how energy works in that way. It's in becoming a reflection from your level of focus that the first part is motivation. Because as we allow ourselves to ask ourselves that question every day, as we get to that place where we become that place, it will be other people that will come to you and call you a motivation. You might be in your positions and you're going to hear that. You might be in your homes and you're going to hear that. You're going to let your ability for you to be you move into that direction. And it's creating that place inside of yourself that you utilize your challenges. It's in creating that place inside of yourself that it utilizes your level of focus. And so as we finish the first 30 minutes about focus, let me go ahead and get ready to get started into how focus goes inwards, how focus gets to that place inside of oneself, how focus gives one's being a place of understanding of the classroom, that you are a student of your life, that when you allow yourself to be present inside of you, that when you're going through challenges and you overcome them, that when you have a place inside of you, you are solid, that when you face off against things, what's going on inside is what matters the most. And as Bruce Lee said, it's like Kung Fu. Kung Fu is like, okay, martial arts like karate is like a bar. You have a bar, and if you hit with a bar, you will create damage. If you look at Kung Fu, it's like a chain connected to a bar. The depth of understanding of oneself that comes through that does that amount of healing inside. It does that amount of being inside. It gives you that place inside of you to where you could study you, where it goes to a higher depth inside of you, where your tools start to work, where you start to face off against your emotions. You start to face off against your fears. You start to face off against your pains. And it's inside of that place that the damage goes inside. It goes beyond that to heal you. It goes beyond that to help you. It goes beyond that to let you recognize that the friend inside matters. And it's sitting down inside of that classroom, that specific classroom, which is you, that takes time. It's sitting down inside of that classroom that takes practice. It's sitting down inside of that classroom that takes years. And it's in sitting down inside of that classroom that the mentality has an ability to vibrate outwards. And as you allow yourself that place internally, the study inside of oneself starts to happen. And as that study starts to happen, you start to go beyond your own opinion. You start to gain from the lessons that you've been through. You start to gain through the mentality inside that the being has to let go of the things that are not you. As simple as being yourself, allowing your process to happen. You know, when do we enjoy our journey? You know, we look at certain people who are just always in a place where they're always happy. And no matter the challenge that they're facing off against, they still overcome it. And it's putting ourselves in that positive place. That even when everything isn't working, that can make it past it. Because as a body in motion stays in motion, the universe lives by the same laws. The universe is going to keep you positive if you put yourself in a place, if you can see the positivity, even when the car is breaking down on you, even when the accident is happening, even when the challenge is happening. You know, if you could see past all of that, if you could see that next page, you would stay positive. So stay positive on that page and recognize that the challenges is just a part of your journey. And so study yourself. Study your abilities to be inward. Study your ability to have that level of vibration, to have that level of being, to have that level of self-mastery where what is inside vibrates out, where the master is inside, that the challenge is not as great as you are. And so, you know, at a certain level, meditation is in martial art. At a certain level, the being is greater inside than the outside. The challenges on the outside don't stop the person inside. The focus inside of one is to manifest beyond that. It's to get to that place where the light radiates, where you actually help people by being yourself. Your challenges aren't greater than you. And it's inside of oneself that meditation comes to a place of understanding. It's inside of oneself where the classroom is you. And it's giving yourself that time that matters the most. It's giving yourself that place. You know, you are the best teacher inside. You know, I can't teach anybody anything. I can only teach them how to be themselves. I can only teach them how to understand themselves. I can only help them to use the tools that I have used, that I have learned to use inside of myself. It's inside of themselves how far they want to go. It's inside of themselves for who they want to be. It's inside of themselves to sit down and do it for themselves. There's videos, there's tapes, there's people out there. So when people come to me to learn from me, they're ultimately coming to me to find themselves. They're coming to me to look within themselves. They're coming to me to sit down and to be a student inside of their own classroom. For me to be a teacher to help them to understand their own knowledge, which is sufficient inside of themselves. That's why I don't believe in uplifting other people. I believe in you being yourself will uplift other people. I believe in the ability for your understanding of your challenges to become available. I believe in the ability for your liberation of your mind, the liberation of your being. I believe in the ability for you to be that beautiful human being that you are, to be strong inside of yourself, to be strong through your challenges that nobody else can face off against, and that you can have a relationship with the Most High, and the utilization of this universe can work in your favor. And so, as we're inwards, that light starts to grow, that understanding, that being, that knowledge starts to become extracted. And so, that is like the purifying, like gold can be purified. You know, they have impurities in gold. A lot of the time they have to heat it up to remove the impurities. That's how our breaths work. Our energy has the ability to overcome our pains. It has the ability to overcome our challenges. It can help you heal inside and out. The reflection from the outside is what people see of your internal path. And it's up to you to want it for yourself. It's up to you to want to be there on time. It's up to you to want to show up when it's time for you to show up. Because the only classroom you have is inside of yourself. And the only person that we succeed for and fail for is ourselves. You gotta be honest. You gotta be selfless. You gotta be who you are inside. You gotta reflect outwards. You gotta understand that, you know, putting a whole classroom together or a path or a journey isn't what it's about. It's about you being the classroom. It's about you being the journey. It's about you being the path. And that just becomes a reflection of your own level of focus. And so, recognizing that we can learn from ourselves, that we can go within ourselves, that we can use our past, we can use our purpose, we can use our journeys is worth it. And it's on that page that the understanding starts to become available. It's when you're overcoming your pains. It's when you're freeing your heart. It's when you're freeing your mind. It's when you're freeing your energy fields inside of your body that the being becomes understanding. And this is why they call it inner light, because the light inside of you starts to shine. The understanding that you are sufficient inside of you, that you don't need to take anything, that this path, this journey is so rich for you to be yourself. And it's inside of that level of understanding that we go inwards. It's inside of that level of understanding to where those people search out from India. They ask me, how do you do meditation? How do you stay practice? How do you stay inside of yourself? You got to put your time aside. You got to put yourself down and say, hey, let's do this every day before I start my day. You know, first we master the morning. First we master the being inside. First we get to the place where what it takes is you versus you. And so you can't do that unless you put yourself first. Unless you give yourself that place and says you sit down and you do your thing. You know, my thing is meditation. My thing is self-study. It's self-understanding. It's self-reflection. It's looking at all the challenges that I've been through. It's looking at all the things that I've gone through. It's through sleeping in my van for 2 months. It's the washing my clothes inside the sauna. It's the making mistakes and learning how to overcome those mistakes, and the ability to focus through your challenges, to see that no matter what faces off against you, you're still going to be yourself. And inside of that, you find your best friend. Inside of that, you find your being. Inside of that, you overcome your own challenges. And it's not going to happen for you unless you want it for you. Unless you see that this is the classroom, that it's the days, it's the weeks, it's the years, it's the breaths that are taken. You know, like Michael Jordan was known to shoot so many shots that nobody wanted to shoot the ball as much as he did. You know, I felt that way sitting inside a sauna. Nobody wanted to breathe the breaths that I did. So when they come to learn from me, They're really coming to learn from themselves. So when we give ourselves that place to be that patient with ourselves, it's inside of our own practice that is what it is. It's not matter what you call it. It's that other people see a level of understanding from a place of reflection known as meditation. So that's where that self-study comes in place. And so let's go ahead and start talking about how your teacher inside reflects to this world. When you recognize that you are sufficient to be you, that you are qualified to be you, that you have been through how many years on the face of the planet? How many challenges have you been through? How many times have you written them down? How many times have you put yourself in a place where you become the discipline, where you are you, where you face off against you? And when you know that, when you know that you are sufficient, when you know that you are your best friend, when you know that what goes on inside is working for you, then you start to create ripples in the universe. Then you start to connect your focus with your knowledge. You let the process center you inside of yourself. You let the being become focus and knowledge, at which place this is discipline. At that point where you see it for yourself, you start to have an understanding that this human being that you are, this path that you're on, this purpose that you go through, is so that you can be yourself. It's so that you could get to the place of self-discipline, where ultimately the reflection of self-knowledge and self-focus, other people see as self-love. So let them be the ones who decipher that from within you. Let them be the ones who see you elevated in your mentality. Let them be the ones that see you disciplined inside of you. Let them understand that you can achieve your dreams. And you can do the things that nobody else can. You can be who you are inside. You can face off against yourself. You can get to the place where the universe will use your focus and your knowledge, where you become centered where they are you. It's interesting when you see somebody who is truly centered, they almost always do this. And the reason why they almost always do this is because it speaks 1,000 words in 1 second. I can tell if a person is centered within a matter of seconds, just from the mere fact of them doing this. And the reason why is because a person who understands focus, a person who understands discipline, understands that this is the classroom and that this is centered on oneself. This is why across many different scripts they explain this. And this, and this, and this. This is why they explain this, because they understand the purpose of the being is to have that place inside of oneself. I've seen like people set up all of these little cushions, and they set up this little picture of their teacher, and they set up this little place there. That's not the purpose. They're missing the point. It's your journey. It's your path. It's your place inside of you. It's your relationship with the universe. It's how far you want to go. It's where you want to become. It's the light that you want to have. After all, you're the one that's going to wake up after you're rested. You're the one who's going to have to feel your energy and use your being. You're the one that's going to have to be your challenges. You're going to have to focus and utilize your knowledge to that place. It's up to you to embrace it. It's up for you to become that level of discipline. It's up for you to find that for yourself. You know, there are many ashrams across the world. There are many places where people wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning And at the first hour of the day, they take a cold shower. And then after they take their cold shower, what do they do next? They sit down and they study themselves. That says it in a million words. You can study you. And you can go through your challenges. You can get to that place inside of who you are. You can face off against those things that nobody else can do for you. And you can get to where you want to be. But you got to face off against it. You truly got to be who you are. You got to see the blessings that you have inside of yourself. Because each day that you do that, each place that you go inside, each part of who you are, each part of the being that you are, each part of the challenges that you face, each part of the reflection that you have, each part of the understanding that you are who you are. And so when we do that for ourselves, we free who we are on the inside. And that place right there, that place where you're free inside of you, that little centered spot called you, that little name that you have, that little life that you have, creates a magnitude, creates a radiating being. And when you focus on the things that you're not good at, that you're not positive in this universe, and you start to think on levels of lower vibrations, as in good or bads, you pull yourself out of the place where the mentality of the utilization of this universe is working in your favor. So when people call you names, when people try to tear you down, when people try to ask you, it's a science to be yourself. You are alive. You are going to go through things that nobody else can for you. You're gonna face off against some stuff that nobody else can do for you. And it's a blessing that you have those kinds of challenges, because inside of those challenges lays you. Inside of that person is your reflection. Inside of that person is your being. And the creator of this universe is known. Take note of this. Is all knowledge. So it's up to you to tap into that. It's up to you to get to that place where other people have already known this. And it is already known that there are great people across the face of the planet. There are people that have achieved, there are the Pelés, there are the Jim and Morsets, the Elvis Presleys. I could go into any field and talk about people that have reached a place of discipline. You could go from here to China, to Japan, to Brazil, to Argentina, to Chile. You could go to Puerto Rico. You could go to Europe. And it's what's going on inside of you wherever you are. And that's why when I see these people who have got, this whole entire room set up, and they got, this teacher in mind, they forget about the teacher inside. They forget about the person that they are. They forgot about their own qualifications. And so it's when one no longer needs that kind of teacher that they see it inside of themselves. They start to see it inside of their path. They utilize their own journey. They utilize their own energy. They utilize their own being to understand and elevate oneself beyond it. And so I was sitting there watching Facebook, and I saw one of those. And I thought, wow, what a young meditator. What a young being inside. No wonder in the Bible they call them baby Christians. Because it's till you have your own relationship with the Most High Creator of this universe. Till when you're utilizing this universe to that level, when you're utilizing your being to your purpose, that you start to utilize 100% you, and the universe gives the other 10. When are we on that page? When are we on that level of focus? When we are going through those kind of challenges where we're utilizing what we have, And you got to ask yourself this. You got to ask yourself, are you truly on that page? Are you truly going through those kind of challenges for yourself? Because it's not going to be for somebody else that you will have to face off against your challenges. It's not their place too. So embrace them. Embrace your journey. That's the point of discipline. That you are on your path, that you were born, that you are being, that you are present, that you are here. A lot of people want to leave this thing. They lose the point. The point is to be present in your being, to be control of your being, that your walk is meditation, that your centering is meditation, that you are a student inside of your being, that your level of discipline creates a reflection that other people see you as a reflection of inspiration. And so, how do you get there? How do you apply your focus and your knowledge to that level where the universe can use you as that tool that you already are? How do you get there? I'd love for you guys to share your stories. I'd enjoy for your positivity. I'd enjoy for your connection in the network. I'd like to know what you do. I would like to know, what types of places you utilize. There are some who utilize yoga. There's some that utilize nature walks. One of my friends in the Netherlands, he utilizes nature walks. He utilizes them in a way so that he can be present with himself. And that's a really great way. Can you shut yourself off in a room and go inwards? What discipline do you have? Can you sing? Can when the energy comes out of you, how does it flow? Where does it flow? When does it flow? And those are the types of things, those are the types of people that I'm connected with. Those are the types of places where I go in my mentality. Those are the types of connections that I create in this universe. And those are the types of connections that come in positivity with the mind that understands that the creator of this universe created this thing as a blessing. Are you on that page with you? Are you on that path with you? Let's go ahead and see how many people are commenting on this. I want to see how many meditators there are out there. I want to see how many people want to hear these kind of messages. I want to see how many people want to see this kind of mentality. I want them to connect with my Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Periscope. And I want them to seek out meditation in any form which utilizes your ability for you to be you. I want you to become disciplined if you're a soccer player. I want you to become disciplined if you're a salesman. I want you to become disciplined if you are a writer, an author, a singer. I will work with you. You just got to get that connection going. You got to get that mentality in place. You got to get that level where it's you, where you are vibrating on that, where you are centered on yourself, where you have a billionaire's mentality, and not just in billions, but in your universe. And so, are you dominating your walk? Are you dominating your being? Are you becoming who you truly already are inside? Or are you allowing somebody else that? That's something we got to each ask ourselves. That's something we got to ask who we truly are inside. And it's when I was sitting inside that sauna and I bypassed five hours of meditation that I realized what inside matters the most. I'd like to see somebody else come and sit in there with me for 5 hours. I know there's very few people across the face of the planet that can do that. And I'd like to see that. I'd like to, be challenged on that. And, once I get in a sauna again, I'm going to do it again. My goal was one day I want to do 24 hours in a sauna. I want to break a Guinness World Record. I want to be able to bypass whatever the Guinness World Record and show that meditation is real. And so, I want you to get that connection. I want you to see your vibration. I want you to see your mentality. I want you to overcome what nobody else can do for you. I want you to ask yourself the question, can this work for me? Can this program work through me? I want to see your vibrations. I want you to ask me how to write stuff down, how to get to the place where you're mastering your day. I want to hear you listening to books like The Science of Getting Rich, Richest Man in Babylon, the Tao, the Bible. I want to see what you got. And I'm out here to uplift you. It's not in a place of, it's upbringing. It's your path, your journey. It's up to you to see what you got inside of you. It's up for you to challenge you. It's up for you to become inspired to be yourself. And so inside of that lays the light called you. Inside of that comes your own challenge. And I all want to challenge you to be who you are, to use your level of focus and your level of knowledge at such a accurate pace that your reflection radiates outwards from within who you are, that you have a understanding of your path, your journey, your purpose is you. And so, are we manifesting it to that level? That's the question we got to ask ourselves. Are we working to our best potential? Because those people that become the best soccer players across the face of the planet, the best at the things that they do, they focus their whole being into it. They put their whole being into their challenges. They put their whole being into their practice, their professions, their, what they truly already are inside. And inside of you, when you're that disciplined, you don't have to change yourself. You have to learn how to see the positivity. You have to see the challenges as an ability to overcome them. You give yourself the permission to dominate your life, to dominate your being, to be who you already are inside. And so each day we do that, each place we do that, each level of focus that we have to be who we are, each level of understanding to that place creates a reflection. And share that level of discipline with others. Share that level of uplifting with others. Share that when you are who you are, when you truly are who you are. And a lot of people are afraid to be who they are. The positive things start moving in your direction. They start moving and it starts to use you. And so, are we focusing to that level where it is us? And that's where we have to ask ourselves daily these questions. We have to ask ourselves daily, is what I'm about to do today, is it motivation? Is it meditation? And is it inspiration? That is a reflection, my friend, of your level of focus. That
I didn't get that.
is a reflection, my friend, of your level of understanding of your own universe. That is a reflection of your mentality and your ability to put yourself in a place where you can overcome your own challenges. So, who's on board? Connect with my networks. Let's get it going. Let's get these challenges going. Get those connections out there. I expect to see those comments. I expect to see those concerns. I start to see how we can work through your challenges. Yesterday I was working with a guy that was smoking. He was wanting to overcome smoking. Sometimes I'll be working with the energy inside. I'll be working with the mentality inside. I'll be working with the people that, are having challenges. So bring your challenges, bring your focus, bring what you want to achieve. Start to utilize these tasks, these tools, and start to find yourself inside of you, because that's what this universe is. It's you on your path. It's you on your journey. It's you on your focus. And it's you on your level of understanding. And so where are you on your mountain? Where are you on your journey? Where are you in your path? And have you asked yourself if you're even on path? Some of us go out in a field and we're present there. And we trek our own path. Do you see that path? You got to give yourself the time to have it. As I close, I'm just grateful that I've had this opportunity to be on this journey. And I want to share it with you, and I want to uplift you all. And I want you to know that there are multiple different things that you can do to get yourself to the place where you want to go. But you got to want to get there first. You got to want it inside of you to that level of mentality where you achieve it for yourself. And it ain't about somebody else. Nobody else can do this path for you. After all, they can't breathe your breath for you. They can't think your thoughts for you. They can't focus for you. And so, what is it going to take for you to focus for you? What is it going to take for you to see the knowledge, the lessons, the path, the breaths, the journey that you've been on? And in that place, I want to uplift you to that place of discipline, that you have a reflection of inspiration. As I close, I just want to say blessings, 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 and namaste.